Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We'll begin. Um, People are still trying to join, and inshallah we'll sort that out whilst we begin this seminar. Um, Brother Ali Bukhari, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we'll make a start. We have two, three people here, so inshallah they can benefit from this as well. People are still going to be joining, and I'll sort that whilst you give your presentation. So, in the name of God, the merciful, the most beneficent, I'd like to welcome the brothers or sisters who are currently in the call right now. This is the first of, inshallah, many resources and webinars that we're trying to conduct to help the brothers and sisters in the community in any way possible. First idea was the idea of project management. As you know, the world of technology is expanding, and the demand for different projects within either IT or different fields is slowly increasing, um, and we see this as an opportunity for brothers and sisters to get into. Um, we are blessed to have one specialized project manager with us, Syed Ali Bukhari, who has vast and many years of experience in the project management field. Um, he is Prince 2 qualified. He is ITIL qualified and also COBIT 5 qualified, which is pretty much, as you can say, the expert qualifications in project management. He's currently in a world-renowned bank in central London working as an IT project manager. So we have him today. He's gonna just go through a little introduction on what project management actually is, brief outlines of what you need to get into project management, and the key aspects of project management, how you can get in to project management, and inshallah I'll leave you in the capable hands of Sayyid Ali. Yes, Brother Ali, if you can take over from here.
Okay, thank you, On, for this brief introduction of mine, and welcome all aboard. My name is Ali Bukhari. I've been in the banking industry for about a decade now, and I have done my Prince 2 ITIL and COVID 5 3 years ago. And as On mentioned, I'm working in a central bank in London, where my role is specific to the IT project management side, specific to IT basically, because I'm looking after all the changes in the bank. So this is my small introduction, and I think let's begin with the project management scope. So what is project management? Basically, managing a project based on the application and the knowledge, and there are plenty of tools available in the market at the moment where you can use for managing a project. Project may be from organization. Basically, project management used in every organization, whether it's a hospital, whether it's a bank, whether it's a software house, or any of them, because it's the basic key to run a project. Okay, and the project manager also requires knowledge for performance and personal skills to perform better at their jobs. The typical work of project manager involves first the requirement gathering. First, you need to require what you are going to do, what is required for that. Second, managing stakeholder expectations, meaning what the stakeholder or your client wants from you. Third is managing key project aspects, including scope, quality, schedule, resource, benefit, and risk. Definitely, if a person comes to you, if a client comes to you with their specific budgets and the risk associated with that and the scope, and they expect the quality and the schedule from your side to get it managed. There are 6 aspects of projects. Number 1, as you can see on your screens, timescales, scope, cost, benefits, risk. As I mentioned earlier, the timescales is basically the schedule where they provide you a limited schedule that for a month we need to get it done, the project, or depending upon the scopes. Basically, the scope is the base of the project where they have a limited cost as well. And obviously, if they are putting some money in it, so they will be assuming that the quality should be better. And most importantly, according to me, is the risk factor nowadays, because everybody will not invest their monies in the project other than getting the risk resolved. Moving on is the project management methodologies is basically depending upon five things. It's initiation. Basically, once the project manager is assigned to a project, you need to initiate it, and initiate it with the deliverables selected and the sponsors and stakeholder agreement. Second thing is planning. Once you initiate the project, then there's a planning process as well. Then what needs to be done in the first phase, what needs to be done in the second phase. The third thing is execution. The execution depending upon the plannings. Once you have decided that in a week's time you are going to execute this project, so these all should be planned according to the methodologies. Sorry. Fourth thing is the monitoring. For example, once you executed your phase one, phase two, and everything is completed, then the second phase comes as monitoring. So once the project is live, now you need to monitor it as it's running according to the scope and timeline according to the scope. When it's okay that this is running according to the scope, then it's fine. Then your monitoring part has been completed. Now, after completing the monitoring part, you just go for the closure of the project after providing all the output that has been agreed in the scope and is been monitored, that is running successfully. Then it comes to closing side. So what are the project manager responsibilities? So the responsibility evolves around the business functions within an organization, and project managers have a specific role in and responsibilities for realizing their project's aim. I think you all guys understand this one now. Okay, moving on to the next one. The project manager will define and run the project, lead the project team, and decide how to approach the work based on factors including the type of project, the business needs, and the expertise of colleagues working on the project. Third one is the project manager is responsible for roles, description, capturing previous lessons, project approach, assembling the project brief, creating and updating the daily log, and creating the initiation stage plan. Basically, guys, I must tell you this, as the project manager, the basic thing is logging everything in a sense. Once you start a project, you need to make a project plan. Then there are some tasks associated to it. Then you need to document each and every action item which belongs to the third party or yourself or the team you are working with. Basically, it includes the technical side as well, the business side as well, because you play a mediator role between the business and the third party, from where you're getting the solution as well. In my case, let me give you an example. As an IT project manager, I have been coordinating with my vendor through which we are getting the solution, and my business side where they are asking for a specific scope where they need the third party to get it installed. For this purposes, I need to coordinate with both of them, and I need both of them to get agreed on one point, because it will never be happen as your business is saying something else and your third party is giving some other solutions. So this is the basic thing that the project manager need to address all the issues, all the solutions that the third party provide to a business person to get it agreed upon. So the next thing is the project management approaches. There are different techniques and processes that can be used to manage projects. These include Prince2. There are many in the market, as you know. There are Waterfall, there are Prince2, PMP. There is one more. Prince2, I'm forgetting one. Prince2 and PMP, and one more I just forgot, sorry. I'll let you know. Agile, sorry, there's mentioned it. So Agile project manager, there are some methodologies, basically the approaches. The only as far as I know, the only thing that is different is the um, mechanism, actually, you can say. Otherwise, everything is similar to each other. If you learn Prince 2, it's quite easy, and it is every Prince 2 is acceptable in all over Europe. But if you go to the Australia or Middle Eastern side, they require PMPs, and in Europe they require Prince 2. So this is for the information. So basically, Prince 2 evolves in, if as you see in the diagram, 5 things, as I mentioned earlier as well. So this is just to let you know, to start with initiations, then planning and design, we can say. Third stage is stage control. Fourth is stage management. And the last is closing. So there are some, as I did Prince 2, so I just wanted to share the Prince 2 benefits to you guys. These are the benefits. The involvement of management and stakeholders at the right time and place during the projects. That is a basic thing of Prince 2 that guides you to do first thing before starting a project. Second is good communication channels between the project and project management and the rest of the organization. As I mentioned you in my example, that communication is the biggest role player in this project management. A means of capturing and sharing lesson learned means if a project manager is doing a project and there are some issues, or there are some question arises from the business side and from the third party side, or within your organization with different departments, you need to learn the lessons. Basically, this is what you have done and this does not work fine for you. So you need to learn that and avoid that in your future. The fourth one is a route to increasing the project management skills and competencies of the organization staff at all levels. I think the best part is to engage and know your manager skills and competencies of this organization staff at all levels that you communicate with. So guys, this is a short one, but I think it's a fruitful one for you guys. So is there any questions that anyone wanted to ask?
Yes, brother Ali. I just had a question as well. I was really interested in this. I mean, I'm guessing people in this group, majority may have done some sort of project management, but probably from a perspective of somebody who wants to get into project management and is starting with a clean slate, as you can say. So what would be your approach? So when you first finished your qualifications and you decided to get into project management, what was your approach from then? Like, how did you approach it? In the first step, did you decide to do any qualifications such as Prince 2? Which ones did you do first? Which one did you think was important at the time? What advice would you give to someone who's pretty much on a clean slate at the moment?
Okay, I got your question now. So basically, you're talking about the ones who just completed their education and wanted to select a
Yes.
role for project management. Okay,
Yes.
so when I started in 2007, I was doing something related to the core banking that our bank uses as an operational guy. So I wanted to, at that point of time, I used to log each and every incidents or issues related to operations. So by the time I was doing this, so that something clicked in my mind that why should I do something that is specific to the role of projects by managing it? Because I was managing some incidents or issues in the operations side. Then I moved to myself into the project side, and I think that initially you just need to document things. For example, if you are raising there's a change in coming in my banking industry. If you know that there are some certain modules working in it, for example, trade, compliance, operations. For that, there's the need of changing, because as the time passes now, there are some regulation changes coming up, and for that change, you need to make some certain documents to get it approved from the management and get the project rolling. So in that point of time, I realized that I should do something, related to my job role. For that purposes, I selected Prince 2, which I did the practitioner and the qualified certification as well, both the things. So through after doing Prince 2, I realized that there are some exact what you can say exact processes available through which I can expand my skills in it. And if you go to the project management, I was looking for the uh, job roles in UK. There are plenty of jobs in project management because, as I told you in my presentation as well, every organization needs a project manager for managing their projects. Even in this construction industry, they are hiring project manager to manage their projects, and in hospitals as well as in airline airlines as well. Every organization needs a project manager in their respective fields. So from that survey in Pakistan, by the way, guys, I started my career from Pakistan, then I moved on to Dubai, where I spent 2 years. Then I move on to UK, and it's been more than 3.5 years. So I have three different countries, experience. So where I find out that project manager is a very good field, and by doing Prince 2, it will expand your skills and the way of working and maintaining the documents and their requirements. I think on I have.
Yeah, that's I understood the answer as well. I mean, if anyone else would like to ask questions, they're more than free to. I'm just asking questions which I've heard
Yeah, yeah,
from people around me who are
yeah, yeah.
who are wanting to get into project management. Um,
Mhm,
but if someone does Prince 2, um,
mhm.
would that be sufficient to enter the project management market? Does it require any other skills? Maybe any personal skills, maybe, or do you need
This
any technical knowledge with regards to your respective field, or is it just um, restricted to, say, Prince 2 syllabus?
okay. So basically, Prince 2 is basically, as I told you earlier as well, is only acceptable in Europe. Basically, European Union and Europe countries accept Prince 2. In Middle East, Australia, America, they go for PMPs. Okay. For Prince 2, as I have an IT background, as I work in IT operations and as well, so I have the experience of IT knowledge as well. So that's why I did ITIL and COBIT 5. COBIT 5 is basically something which relates to the auditing requirements. And ITIL, as you are all aware, is information technology library, infrastructure library. So it's basically involved in the technical side of it. So as I was working in a bank as an IT representative, I have some knowledge of IT as well. So project management is Prince 2 is easily available and easily people asking for in Europe only, and for Australia and America is PMP and Middle East.
Okay, that's
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
And does
So if
anyone
you
else have any questions? I'm receiving questions on my inbox here. Give me 1 second. So you said every respective field demands a project manager, whether it
yeah
be IT, it could be construction, finance. Every
yeah
respective field is looking for a project manager. So it's a very demanding field.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, I must tell you, see, I have a specialization in banking industry. So I am aware that in banking industry, what are from IT perspective, I must say. So I have an idea of IT project management with respect to banking industry. But the thing is, let me show you, I was searching for jobs. Then the thing I remember and I realized that in NHS, they need a project manager. In a software house, they need a project manager. In construction company, they need a project manager, because everybody needs a project manager depending upon their specialization or where they wanted to work for.
Mhm.
I work for banking industry, so my demand in banking industry is much higher than the person who works in a construction company.
Okay, yeah, that's
There are
understood.
different types of, but the role of project manager will be the same. It's just give you a perk as you have an experience of that specific field.
Okay, yeah, that's understood. There's another interesting question coming. Um,
Mhm.
any tips you would give for someone who's reaches an interview as a project manager?
Okay. So they will definitely, I think nowadays they specifically define what kind of project methodology you are using. So they must have asked you about waterfall, agile, Prince 2, and there are many more. I think I have just named three or four. There are many more as well. So if they define something related to Prince 2, then you must aware of what they will definitely ask you the what is the process of Prince 2. How you initiate a project, just let us know. So you have to define all the five things that I mentioned earlier in my presentation: initiation, process, stakeholders, monitoring, and closure. This is what they are asking for. They will definitely give you a case study that if we give you this similar project, how you initiate it till the end. So you need to draw this whole diagram to them and define that who are the stakeholders and who you will be communicating to.
Okay, so that's the most important part to
Yeah,
understand.
definitely. They will definitely ask as a project manager, and they will definitely ask you about your latest project that you have done.
Okay, what if someone's come? So, I mean, if someone doesn't have any experience but still wants
Hmm.
to go into a project management role, is
Hmm.
that an issue? Because obviously some roles demand experience. Would they start off with a junior role, or would they?
They they will never hire them. That's a very good question. On the thing I just wanted to mention, you guys, that you cannot be a project manager from the start. This is a title that you get after spending a lot of time on a specific field. Let's just say before being a project manager, I was project coordinator. Coordinator means an assisting role, means where in that role you can assist some project managers to learn how the projects go. If everybody is listening, this is something really important. If you wanted to start your career in project management, first you need to be a project coordinator who coordinates with the project, who assists the project manager to get the projects done. Once you have said that sufficient amount of experience, then you will be titled as the project manager. And
Okay.
yeah, and this project Prince 2 qualification will help you out once you've done your experience, because Prince 2 you will only read it and you will never understand unless until you do it practically. The certification always come for a person who have a experience in it.
Okay, yeah, that's understood. So if
Yeah.
someone was on a clean slate, he would firstly want to go for a role which is, say, a project coordinator,
Yeah.
and then whilst he's doing a project coordinator role, he will be studying for his Prince 2. Then
Yeah.
hopefully he'll get boosted up to as a project manager.
Exactly. This is what.
Okay, yeah, that's a very important point. I think people
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
take note of that. So that's
Yeah, because project manager is basically, it's a very, responsible role where a new person cannot come and start doing it on the principles, on the definitions of Prince 2 and everything. Because if a person, I would recommend this, a person should have at least 6 to 7 months experience of project coordinator, then he or she can apply for Prince 2. Because unless or until they will never understand what Prince 2 is all about.
that's true. It's all about practically implementing. Yeah,
Because people you used to do certification to know or get experience in it. If you don't have experience in it, how you do a certification without knowing anything what you do? And let me assure you guys, while doing a Prince 2, there is a case study as well where you need to answer the questions as well in Prince 2.
okay, that's interesting.
Basically, there are two kinds of Prince 2. Where Prince 2 in Prince 2 you have to do in two steps. One is Prince 2 Foundation, and one is Prince 2 Practitioner. In Practitioner, you need to give a case study as well.
Okay, you have to write a case study or you have to assess the case study.
Assess. Basically, you have to work with somebody and provide the, your documentation and your things.
Okay, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Apologies, Ali. There's another question here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us an example of a successful project which you have recently run, and what was your method in approaching that, and how did you lead it towards success?
Okay, the latest project I did is the image-based clearing. As you all are aware that the paper clearing is now be ending, I think this year, this mid-year, and there'll be no paper clearing going on in the whole UK because they last year in 2017 I was working in a project called image-based clearing where all the clearing checks will be going through a API system that is integrated with our core banking system, and all the checks that was used to be going through couriers now coming in the form of APIs. API is basically a technical term that joined the two system into one.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so the latest project I did is the image-based clearing, where all the paperwork has been done into what we can say digital format.
Mhm.
It was quite successful as well.
Okay, that's right. There's another question from a brother here. Um,
Hmm.
he says, "I'm not a project manager, but an idea comes in my mind to need to bring a small change in my current setting, like a change in a workflow.
Hmm.
Taking that as a project, where should I start from?"
Okay, so what kind of change? I mean, what organization he's talking about, so I can guide him in that way.
In NHS IT.
NSSIT. So, what's the change he want in which area?
Okay, I'm liking these questions. It's a very good approach.
Hey, brother, this is something you get it from experience. If I suddenly started saying that you need to do this process and all that, this will not help you out. I need to get as a project manager. I need to know each and everything that what is it belong to which organization, from where he want to start, how many people do they have. This kind of question need to be done.
Okay, yeah, I can tell the experience coming from those questions. Let me just read the question again, maybe. So, I'm not a project manager, but an idea comes in my mind to need to bring a small change in my current setting, like a change in a workflow, maybe in a process or something. I don't know. Taking
workflow, workflow for the individual or work for the flow for the department or for the organization.
the
I
brother,
think he's specific to his department, I think.
the brother's typing. It's a department change.
Okay, what kind of change?
So he works in the radiology department, which uses a system. So he works in NHS IT in the radiology department, um,
Mm-hmm.
which uses a system called PACS, PACS.
Mm-hmm. Brother, my wife is a doctor and she's a radiologist as well, and she said it's pathetic. So it's called PACS, and they used to archive the images in there, right?
Brother sending me brother, if you can type on the chat, it would be very helpful so he can see as well. But it's okay, it's up to you. I can. Okay, no problem. He's lost the screen. No problem. No problem. Sorry for the way, Ali bhai.
Yeah, no problem.
No, no, go ahead, brother. Ask your question. It's okay. It's okay, brother. You can type it. I'll ask the question. You can type your question in the meantime. I'll ask from my perspective as well. But on a just a question on my end because I'm in IT as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more into more on the technical side of things. So um,
Mm-hmm.
like infrastructure side. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but something is telling me that because we're getting a lot of projects coming in here and there, and we have very limited project managers as well. So I was thinking what you said as well, that the demand for project managers is very high. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but would my technical knowledge be sufficient if I know how the system works?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been in my company for nearly a year, I understand the whole infrastructure, how everything works, plus my technical knowledge. But the only thing I
Mm-hmm.
lack is the whole concept of the Prince 2 theory, stuff like that. Um,
Well,
but would my
I
technical knowledge be sufficient?
obviously, man, obviously, if you see, that's the reason why I told you earlier as well. The specialization is very important. If you go for job search, they will definitely say if you have the experience in banking industry, that will be a plus point as well. They always obviously mention this in their JDs, in their JDs and job. Uh, uh,
The job descriptions, yeah.
yeah. So the thing is, it is helpful, but the thing, if you know your desire, if you know your field, then it will be really plus point for you to do apply the Prince 2 concept in your field, because you are aware that before initiating, for example, there is a desktop issue, and you know how to resolve it. So you know how you have a SOP for it, standard operating procedure, how to
Yeah, yeah.
do it. There is a guide for it, so you can Prince to basically guide you to how to initiate after planning. So planning is the basic thing before initiating a project.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay. And where do you get your projects from? Do they come from the director, or I mean, who thinks of these projects?
basically some companies comes to, for example, if I give you an example of image clearing, that is a regulatory requirement. So FCSS, FCA, I think is the regulatory, FCSC. Yeah. So they come with the regulatory requirement that this needs to be done by mid of 2018. So this came around 2017 January. So we started that project, and we have a deadline that before July 2018 we need to do all these things. So before starting things, for example, if you are wanted to do something to change in your department, let me answer the brother's question that he wanted to ask in a way that I understand that. So before managing or before asking for a change within your department, you need to analyze what are the prerequisites and what you want to change in it.
Mhm.
So these are the two steps. First, analyze what you want to change, and before making a change, what are the prerequisites for it? Is that impacting your customer or not? This is the basic point. If we get live and you want this change to be done by tomorrow, and at that point of time customer really faces some issues, this will be a disaster, I must tell you.
Okay.
So for a change, you need to write down the prerequisites and the change scope. Then you can analyze what to do, whether you need to go forward with this or not.
Okay. If anyone else has any questions, then we can wrap this session up. Okay. Seems like there's no more questions, so we'll wrap the session up. Thank you very much, Syed Ali, for your time. And
No
I
problem.
hope whoever is watching right now and whoever watches this in the time ahead will benefit from this session. And I hope we can benefit from your experience again in the future.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Khuda Hafiz.
No.